I want to find out if anyone else has experienced something similar to this. The following story happened yesterday while I was sleeping over at a friend's place where we'd share one bed. I suddenly woke in the middle of the night and there was a face with huge black eyes right in front of mine. It definitely didn't look human and it didn't show any expression, almost mask-like. It also seemed to look at me, but at the same time past me. It's kind of hard to describe. Because it was extremely dark, I tried to rationalize that what I was seeing must be my friend's cat. I remembered that she once told me that her cat would often stare very closely at her face when she's hungry and wants food. I thought the huge eyes were simply the cat's face being too close to mine. Because I wanted it to move away from my face, I started to stroke it, just like I would do to a cat, and said, "Fiora," which is the name of my friend's cat. I could feel my hand touching it, but instead of fur, it felt like I was touching a person's skin. That's when I started to realize something wasn't right. My friend, who tends to wake from the slightest bit of noise, and who thankfully happened to be awake at that same moment, replied, "Fiora isn't here." The thing's face moved away from mine, and I realized that the eyes remained big. I sat up abruptly and became scared as I noticed that it wasn't my friend's cat. I then saw it move behind my friend's head and on top of her pillow. I told her to look at her pillow, still hoping that my mind is playing tricks on me and that it's just the cat. My friend sat up, stared at her pillow. I can still see that thing sitting there, but she didn't see anything. I started to panic and asked her to quickly switch on the light, but that's when the thing disappeared. I insisted that we look around the room. The doors and windows were closed, so nothing could have entered or left the room, but I firmly wanted to hold on to the belief that it must have been the cat. We obviously found nothing, and my friend began to worry as I was really panicking at that point. I tried to process what happened and was so confused by the fact that I was stroking something moments ago. Sleep paralysis usually means being unable to move and feeling the sensation of being touched or having some weight on top of you, but this time it was the opposite. I could move around freely, didn't feel any pressure on top of me, but I could touch the thing and it felt like it was physically there. Has anyone else experienced something like this? Edit. I want to further describe the appearance of this thing, as many of you have asked what it looked like. It's really hard to describe, but I'll try my best. The face was a bit smaller than that of an average human adult head. The eyes were about 6 meters in height and a bit longer in width. I described them as black, but they also had a thin dark gray iris, about 3 miles in diameter, and large pupils. The eyes were slightly popping out of the head. It had a very small mouth, no hair on its head and no ears. The skin was a muddy grayish color, and also covered with a few brown stripes. Once it moved to my friend's pillow, I saw that it didn't have a neck but a thin body that was only about a meter long. The body itself had a pitch black color and it walked on 4 legs. Edit 2. I now tried to draw what I remember from looking at its face. Here's a link to the image.